Hello everyone, welcome to the market snapshot for today. So, like I said, somehow data was not pointing towards the rise of US markets, and I think that is what we have been seeing in last couple of sessions. Whereas wherein the falls have been very brutal, and the Indian markets also are not looking very lucrative at this point of time, unless and until you are someone who loves scouting the markets, going thematic or sectoral. At the numbers, Nifty 50 stands at 24,078. It has almost given 70-80% of the rise which it might have gotten in the month of July. It has almost given up almost everything. 500 looks better at 23,386. Nasdaq is down by almost 2.2%, and S&P is up by 0.2%. The advances to declines for Nifty 500 is 142 to 358, and new highs are 6 against new lows of 494, and the breadth keeps deteriorating. Above 20 EMA 205 stocks, above 50 EMA 249 stocks, above 200 EMA 282 stocks. So what we are seeing, even if the Indian markets try to rise a bit, somehow some or the other factors keep coming in, and that is the reason the momentum never persists. It just keeps fading away, falling away, and that is what is happening in Indian markets predominantly. And US market, I think it's very volatile. That's what I would say. So this is Nifty 50. Like I said, whatever gains it might have made in the month of July, it has almost given away almost everything. So basically, the strength is not with the large caps, but at the same time, the contradiction is there is a lot of sectoral and thematic plays which are going well in India, and that is where you should be scouting. Maybe just looking at the indexes in isolation, the opportunities are very minimum, but on a stock front, I think there are ample of opportunities. Nifty 500, like I said, very similar structure, made a lot of gain in the month of July and has almost given up 50% of that. But still, this looks a much stronger looking chart. And the reason is very simple. Like I said, Nifty 50 basically talks about the 50 largest companies in India, whereas Nifty 500, you know, is a bouquet of lot many more sectors, themes, and that is the reason this index, although even this has been fading away, it doesn't look as bad as Nifty. And that is the reason I have been telling, the Indian markets are giving you very good opportunities provided you can scout them well. If you're too married to technical analysis, too married to broader indexes, maybe you might struggle a lot, and stops might get hunted, the breakouts might not work. So that is what it is. The overall sentiments in the market, I mean, like you see, most of the things are in red. Nifty 50 is all down, is has gone below 50 EMA. Participation has become weak, and I think this is what I already stated. I would not be surprised if the breadth becomes weak in 1 or 2 sessions, and that is exactly what has happened. And Nifty 500, it is just trying to sustain. I won't say it's a very strong looking chart, but then there are drivers in this universe, which is driving the pockets are very small. I mean, maybe out of 500, barely 5-7%, maybe at max 10% stocks which are rising, which are driving this entire universe. And that is the reason I'm saying, go beneath these broader indexes. You'll have to look for sectors, themes, where the money is flowing. That is where the chances of you making money would be. But at the same time, while everything has been going down, there are good positives for the Indian markets too, based on whatever happened yesterday globally, and I'll come back to that. Let's have a look at the US market. This is S&P 500. I mean, again, better numbers. Again, very volatile. US markets are very volatile at this point of time, and advances were 289 to declines of 211, and new highs 15 against new lows of 485, and the breadth. The breadth here too is deteriorating. Above 20 EMA 273 stocks, above 50 EMA 302 stocks, above 200 EMA 359 stocks. This is the chart for Nasdaq. Like I mean, if you see, I mean, this is where the hurdle would be, and mostly, it is not even going there, it is coming down. So it is wait and watch for the Nasdaq 100. There are good opportunities if you're looking for maybe again sectorals, like healthcare is doing very well, financials are doing very, very well, consumer discretionary very, very well. Maybe those are the sectors where you can look at. S&P 500, a better looking chart, losing bit of momentum, but at the same time, I think not as bad as maybe Nasdaq. This is at this I would say at this point of time, it looks like the liquidation is moving towards smaller caps, and that is the reason we see while everything was in red yesterday, Russell made slight bit of changes and is trading little higher. So overall, the US markets, I think in one word, if I could summarize it, it is just very volatile. And if you can deal with volatility, there are opportunities. If you cannot, it'll be difficult to play this market at this point of time. For sure, there are opportunities, but they are not. I mean, they are not easy opportunities. You'll have to deal with volatility. Psychologically, it can be painful. Maybe the bets where you poured in your 100% never worked, but maybe bets where you were reserved, maybe you put your 50% bet size and that worked. So that is what I am saying. If you can only deal with volatility, US markets could be your place, or else you might struggle at this point of time. But there are some good news coming in for both the markets, be it the Indian market and the US markets. Like I said earlier, the yields have fallen, which I think is a very, very good news for the equities market, be it in the US or the Indian markets. Has it fallen significantly? No, of course not. It is just that yesterday's session it went down. But the bigger positive was dollar. Somehow dollar was hovering around that mark of $100. I mean, it just traded at around those levels of 100, but I think yesterday's fall was significant. And this is something, which might fuel the rise of Indian equities, the US equities. And that is the reason maybe today's session would be very, very interesting. VIX at 1489, I think this simply just doesn't indicates anything. At 15, VIX at 15 literally doesn't tells you anything. It just tells you the market is very neutral, which, like, I mean, that's definitely not the case. The markets are extremely volatile. And I have been telling you guys that Bitcoin should be in your watch list, and here is the reason. It has moved almost 7 to 8%. I told you it was basing. Whether it will break down, no one knows. But then a 7-8%, if at all it was in your watch list, you had a system to play this, I'm sure you would have made some money. And I'm sure many of you might be holding it too. Gold at 44.97, very, very strong day yesterday. I mean, after a couple of sideways days, very, very strong day yesterday. So overall, I think there were ample of opportunities to make money. At the same time, if you're just married to one single concept of one single theme, maybe you might have found it very difficult. So it is important to have a broader view of the market. Just don't be married to something very single, because see, markets are a little more complex than what we assume. If it was very, very simple, uh, very, very free flowing, I think most of the people would make money, but that's not the case. Mm, with complexity, I don't mean, you need to know 100 200 kind of things or factors to understand the market, but the market is not just technical analysis. I would say it is a bouquet of maybe 5, 7, 10 factors which might affect your trade or investments, and for sure you should be looking at them. So, like, this is what I told you. I am very bullish on this fall. So this definitely would have an impact on the equities market, and I'm sure this will help the equities market in the US and India. It was a very, very strong fall, dollar falling by almost 1%. Doesn't happen very often, but this was good. And I think this might fuel the rise of equities. This is Bitcoin. Like I said, see, it was basing here, right? Very similar structure to what gold was doing. Either it could have broken out or it could have broken down. I am someone who simply doesn't believes in anticipating. I would play both these bets. I would mark my maybe a resistance lines here, resistance here, support here. If this breaks down, I take a trade. If this breaks down, I take a trade. I don't want to anticipate whether it will break out, break down. Why do I do that? I mean, see, the good part about markets is if you have a system, they will provide you ample of opportunities. If you don't have one, honestly, however good or bad markets are, you are not going to make money. So that is the reason, definitely need to have a system. This was basing, it was very, very clear. 50 MA, around 50 MA for sure. Something had to happen. Whether it was breakout, breakdown, no one knows. I played this somehow, into good position at this point of time, and mostly I'll continue to hold till the time my system allows. I mean, gold had a very similar day. Just, I mean, like I said, last 3, 4 sessions somehow, not much had moved, although there were good intraday opportunities here too. But just look at this candle yesterday, what happened. It just break out and gave you, I mean, good returns on your money. That's what it is. So overall, what I would say is I think today's session is going to be crucial for both the markets, Indian market and US market. And I think I'm bullish on equities today. The major reason is the rise of the fall of the dollar. In isolation, both the markets are not looking good. India looks a weaker market, US looks a volatile market. But I think there are a lot of strength in the sectoral themes in both the markets, and those are mostly, core sectors which drive an economy. In Indian perspective, you need to look at consumer durables, healthcare, auto. These are very good sectors. Media has gained a lot of momentum. Maybe you can look at strengths in these sectors. In the US, financials are doing very, very well. Then consumer discretionary is doing very, very well. Healthcare is doing very, very well. That is where, you should be focusing upon. If you're looking at broader indexes, maybe you might struggle because the markets, Indian markets are weak, so mostly your breakouts would not work. And the US markets, I think it is very volatile, so you'll be hunted. So that is the reason, be little watchful, be little conservative about your bets. But if at all you want to get in, I think you should be playing your sectoral or thematic bets and not the overall market. Gold, Bitcoin will provide you very, very good opportunities. I have been telling this. mm, I mean, for gold, I have been telling, I think, almost for a month now. And for Bitcoin, like I said, I mean, see, this is not an ordinary rise. This is something very, very significant. Some very, very strong players have come in. They will fuel the rise. Just try to, get into this trade, not desperately, but whatever system you have, follow that, and that should definitely help you. That's everything from my side. I hope you all found this useful. Thank you so much and have a good one. See you next time.